will be according to the budget that you have. Okay, and also you have, okay, and then you also talk about proposal submission and process. Okay, so well, inshallah, okay, after this, all the researchers will submit in a timely manner. Okay, and then when the award is approved, okay, what to be done? Okay, this I believe will be expanded later on by Dr. Adlina. Okay, and then how to manage the funding. This is also will be expanded on how it's been done. Okay, remember every sponsors have their own way of uh, how their oversight. Okay, and as RMC we have to be prepared for each sponsor's requirement. Okay, and those will be transferred to the researcher. Okay, and some researcher will have you know that this research grant, okay, have to be managed like this. Okay, and so on. Now, and the most important part is actually on the reporting and monitoring. Okay, so on that note, RMC, we have RMS V2. Okay, that's as a tool to manage the research. Okay, RMS V2, although it's been designed for mostly for KPT, but we also cater uh, all others as well. Okay, so make sure that, okay, so basically that's the thing that we expanded, okay, we clarified later by Dr. Adila today. So again, on behalf of RMC, I'd like to thank everyone for coming to this talk. Okay, so and we are hope, and again, I'd like to thank GMU for taking this initiative. Okay, and we are hoping that to have many more of such talks later on, because we want to be to have, okay, at the moment, IUM still, okay, even though we are doing it honestly, okay, but sometimes because we don't know the right process, okay, it affects our integrity. So this is why this talk is very important. Okay, and more after this. Okay, so again, thank you GMU, thank you Dr. Lina. Okay, and I wish everybody, and I'll be here as well. Okay, to listen to the talk. Okay, so, okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Prof. Amir. Before we really start our talk, I would like to inform that we're gonna have a commercial break. Sorry, not commercial break. Short break, about 5 minutes. At 11. Is it okay, Doctor? 11. Okay.
Boleh. Can.
Because
I think the audience need it more than me.
yes, because knowing Dr. Aldina, she can talk like 2 hours without break. So we need to give her breaks so that we can have a break. Okay. Without further ado, I would like to invite none others our speaker today, Dr. Aldina, to share information on the ethical and also on the management of grants. All right. Thank you. Please welcome, Doctor.
All right, thank you so much, Sister Nurain. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very, very good morning to Prof. Ami. Thank you so much, Prof, for your support. I think Prof has always been very supportive, for any talk that we do. He will always be there, alhamdulillah. Thank you, Prof. And also to my dear brothers and sisters who are willing to join us today. I know that there are many, many programs going on at the same time because people are rushing, before the semester starts, right? So thank you for being able to join us. So as Prof. Amir, I think what Prof. Amir mentioned is really, hit the bulls by the horn, because he is a national evaluator for Mohe grants. So what he said just now is like, that is the things that happen, right? That when you submit your proposal, the money and all that, and in terms of evaluation, you know, and also the different requirements by different funders. So so basically today, inshallah, yeah, for the next until 12 o'clock, inshallah, yeah, what I will be sharing with you right, is on this topic, right, which is on ethical and responsible management of grants. All right. Ain, can you see my slide?
Yes, doctor.
Okay. And is it moving? Is it moving?
Yep, moving.
Okay, thank you. All right. Okay. So ethical and responsible management of grants. I think because I am heading the grant management unit team, we realized that most of the time, some of the things that we face with researchers is due to ignorance. Okay, ignorance. I know that there is a proverb that says ignorance is bliss, but to us in the grant management, ignorance is not a bliss. Okay, and I think I believe to our researchers, ignorance is not a bliss because you are ignorant, it will land you into trouble. So we want to. So basically, what we are trying to do today is to inform, to educate our researchers, you know, on the ethical and responsible ways in managing your grants. Okay, hopefully with some of the information and knowledge that you gain today, will help you to ensure that the processes in managing your grant will happen smoothly, will take place smoothly, inshallah. Yeah. Okay. I can hear some noise somewhere, people talking. Can the person mute, please? Thank you so much. All right. All right. So moving on. So basically, the purposes of today's talk is actually to enlighten, okay, to enlighten researchers, as well as, for me, I think it's more of educating researchers, sharing our experiences, our real experiences in GMU, all right, and also hopefully, you know, to take up some questions from all of you later on, yeah, and then to share the processes, procedures, and policies in managing grants. Okay, this is something very important, brothers and sisters, for you to know what are the processes, what are the procedures, and also the policies, because let me be very frank with all of you that when we follow, when researchers come to us and ask us for advice, you know, how to do this, how to do that, in our mind, there are many guidelines and policies that comes into play, and we will try to combine these policies and guidelines that we have, you know, and try to come up with the best advice to give to all of you for your specific question or situation. So that's what normally happens. Okay. To provide a platform of communication between researchers and RMC officers. That is another important thing, all right? To know, for you to know who we are, you know, who we are and what we are doing. I think that's also very important. So basically, and at the end of it all, we hope that all our IUM researchers, you know, will have all these beautiful, you know, values, ethics, accountability, principles, integrity. You know, we hope to achieve that, inshallah. Yeah. All right. So basically, in this presentation, these are the things that I will try to cover. The GMU team, ethical and responsible research, what is it about, and then guidelines and procedures, okay, that I will share, inshallah. Okay. So firstly, let's a bit of a ta'aruf with us, the GMU team members, okay. Okay, so these are the core people in the grant and financial management. I am when I saw the picture, all right, now at this moment I realized that I have missed someone who has just joined us. I am very sorry, Shira. Nur Shahira. Her name is Nur Shahira. She has just joined us. All right. So basically, for GMU, there are actually 5. I'm very sorry, Shira. Please pardon me for my oversight. Uh, so there are 5 of us now. All right. So I'm heading the team, and this is my email address. All right. This is Nur Ain. Okay. I think everyone. I mean, majority of you may know Nur Ain already by now. Nur Ain. She is taking over Brother Ahmad Najmi's place because Najmi has left us for a better place, I hope, inshallah, yeah. And then we have Sister Susanna in our team, a very experienced staff, all right. She has been with us for more than 30 years, alhamdulillah. And we have Sister Siti Sarah, okay, a very hardworking person, but very shy. That is why she, in the picture, she doesn't even look at the camera. All right. And we have Sister Nur Shahira. Okay. I'm very sorry, Shira. Inshallah, next talk, I will put your face as well. Okay. I'm very sorry about that. Okay. So there are actually 5 of us in Gombak. Okay. In Gombak. And basically, in Gombak, we handle, all the major grants. All right. But of course, we also have our team in Kuantan, consisting of Associate Professor Dr. Widya Lestari, all right, from KOD, and then Sister Mastura Abdul Wahab and Sister Suaidah Abu Mansur. Okay, so they are handling grants in Kuantan. Okay, right. So let's move on to ethical and responsible research. Okay. I believe that, all of us in this university, when we do things, we do it with the consciousness that God is watching us. Yeah, we always strive to do things in the correct way. That is what I believe. Okay, and that is what I believe my brothers and sisters, have within their heart as well. That we want to do good. We want to do things according to what our religion says. What are the correct things that has been set by the society, by the by the custom or by the institution. Yeah, so that has always been the thing. All right, mainly because in this in the Al-Quran, yeah, in Surah Az-Zalzalah. All right, I'm a bit anxious here because I see that Dr. Raudatul is here with us as well. Okay. But I will try my best because I try to relate it to this surah, yeah, this ayah in Surah Az-Zalzalah, Surah ayah 99, which says that whosoever does good equal to the weight of an atom or a small ant shall see it, and whosoever does evil equal to the weight of an atom or a small ant shall see it. So you see, Allah is so fair. He is all-knowing. He knows what we do. And of course, as a Muslim, we want to do the correct things. We want to do things in an ethical manner, in a responsible manner. Okay? So what my aim today is actually to educate my brothers and sisters in terms of managing your grants so that you are not, for example, you are not going to claim for things that you are not supposed to claim. Okay, for example, all right? And sometimes I believe that when researchers are more aware of the things, of the do's and don'ts, of the procedures and processes, when they understand, then when they come to us at RMC, I believe that they are less how shall I say, they will be less angry when they approach us, because most of the time when we receive emails, the tone is always in a very sometimes very harsh, yeah, sometimes we know that they're very angry. We know that they are very worried about their research. We understand that, of course, and we are here to help. Yeah. So I hope that, and we know that they are angry because they don't know. Okay, so that's why we want you to know what are the do's and the don'ts and what are your rights. Okay, so and how to do things in a proper way. Okay, in an ethical and responsible way. Okay, right. Following because we have policies, we have guidelines and all those things. Yeah, and these guidelines, I have to admit to you, most of it, we ourselves at the RMC, we have to abide by these guidelines because some of these guidelines do not come from us. That is something I want all of you to understand. These guidelines don't come from us. We have to abide by the guidelines of the financial guidelines from the university authority, yeah. And then we have to abide by the guidelines of the ministry, of the different funders, like what Prof. Amir mentioned just now, because different funders will have different requirements. Okay, so that is the thing. Okay, we do not freely, oh, okay, you can do this, you can do that. No, we always need to go back to what does it say. Okay, all right. So because we are going to be accountable, this is one thing. Okay, I think the main value or main virtue from this ayah is that at the end of the day, brothers and sisters, we are going to be accountable. Okay, so that is why, to me, I think it's very important that we carry out our research, manage our research in the most responsible and ethical manner, to the best of our knowledge and our ability. Okay, so actually, to me, I think the word research itself, okay, consists of all these values, if we are to look at it. And I highlighted this one in green, God consciousness. I think this is the most important value, the most important element that we need to have within ourselves as Muslims. Because in whatever we do, I mean, this is the same thing I mentioned to my students, in the class. We are Muslim first before anything else. We are Muslim first before we are learners, we are researchers, we are mothers, we are fathers. We are Muslim first. So that's why we need to be conscious of God and to know that every single thing that we do, He knows. Okay, even though, like, for example, you can see the mountain behind me, right? But actually, I'm just in this one small room, all right? So, and He sees all this. Okay, even though my family members are not here with me, but Allah knows. Okay, and you know. Okay, so first is God consciousness, and then of course all other things will come. Okay, the integrity, the ethical, the responsible, being prudent in managing the financial, because this is about money. Okay, this is about money. I have to be honest with all of you. I want to be honest with all of you. Before I came to RMC, I was with CPS. Okay, I was with CPS. Then I moved to RMC. You see, when I was at CPS, I dealt with different kind of academicians, because they are all supervisors. They are all supervisors. They have problems regarding their supervisees. We had to deal with plagiarism cases, etc., etc. So that kind of nature. When I come to RMC, where the money is parked, to my surprise, I meet the same people, but with a different face. With different face, with different character. Allahu Akbar, And I'm like, okay, so you see, that is why, we are wearing different, we have different faces for different situations. We are wearing different hats for different purposes. Okay, so that was something that, okay, right. So then I realized that, I need to educate my fellow brothers and sisters. Okay, right. And also, for your information, all right, even the government is serious about this matter. Okay, not only us in IUM, but also the Malaysian government. Okay, that is why the government has already come up with this Malaysian Code of Responsible Conduct in Research in 2017. Okay, I am sharing the link to the web in this particular slide, okay, where you can get it online, okay, later on when I share the slides with all of you. All right, so you know, it's already there. Okay, if you go through it, you know, from the time when you submit your proposal up till the completion of the research, okay, it is well spelled out in this particular document. So you see that even the government is very serious about it. Yeah. Okay. So among the gist that I can highlight to you, yeah, that I can extract from the document, was that okay, there needs to be research policies and procedures are clearly and specifically developed and communicated. So that's what we are doing today. All right, we believe that the policies and procedures have been developed, and today we are trying to communicate these things, these important things, this important information to our fellow brothers and sisters. Okay, and researchers should strive of the research and promises me. Okay, what submitted your application. Okay, you need to remember that. And please, okay, this is one thing that I learned. Okay, while I am in RMC, that researchers should not overpromise. You should not overpromise just because you want to get that grant. Okay, because at the end of the day, you will get stuck. Okay, brothers and sisters, with all honesty, this is what some of our own researchers are facing. I'm saying this based on feedbacks that we got, as well as you know, real experiences from our researchers. Okay, they overpromise. Okay, for example, in terms of publication, okay, the minimum requirement was only 2, but no, they went all out to promise 10. You see, so of course they managed to secure the grant, but at the end of the day, they are struggling now. They cannot, because you see 10 publications within a 2-year project. Allahu Akbar, you know, you need to produce, I mean, ideally it should be 5 and 5. First year, 5 articles, and 5 articles in the second year, which I think is, oh, wow. I mean, if the person can do that, subhanallah, I respect that person. But please, okay, do not overpromise. Okay, be realistic of what you are capable of doing. All right, and then the resources should be used prudently, efficiently, and diligently. Legal and ethical tenets should be strictly observed. Okay, right. So another area that I want you to remember is that we also have the legal aspect when we do research. Yeah. Okay, the legal principles that we need to abide by. Based on the staff, the document, staff disciplinary book. Yeah, all right. So that is another document that we also follow. Okay, publication of results should be timely and acknowledgements should be in order. Okay, so we're going to go through this in detail. Okay, as I proceed with my talk. Yeah. So, and I would also like to share with you some of the findings, okay, that were picked up by, that were highlighted by MOHE, okay, by the Ministry of Higher Education when they came to audit us in 2019, okay. So these are some of the findings which really opened up our eyes, because, you know, these were all cases, these were all projects, and we were like, Allahu Akbar, you know, we were what could we say? Okay, because these things have already happened. So that is why I feel that it's very important for me to tell all of you that, look, these are the things that had happened, and we do not want these things to happen again. So, number 1, there are projects with poor progress and poor grant utilization. 0%, okay, of grant utilization as well as progress. Okay, and this was in FRGS 2016, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so it was like, wow, how did that happen? All right, and we also found out about PIs who submitted same proposal to 2 different funders concurrent. Okay, and this was admitted by the researcher himself because he was requested by Mohe to come and do his presentation because they noticed that his research was not moving. So they wanted some kind of justification, and he was honest enough to inform all of us, to our shock, that actually he had already submitted the same proposal to two funders, one to Mohe and one to a private company or to a different agency, government to another government agency, and eventually he managed to secure both. So what he did was he used the money from the other agency, not from Mohe. Okay, so then we were like, how could that happen? And when I look at from the legal perspective, the document from Ola, this is something I want to highlight to all my brothers and sisters today. That is against our regulation. This is against the IIUM regulation. Okay, there is a clause there. I'm very sorry, I forgot to sneak to cut that thing and paste it here. But I want to tell all of you that there is a clause, okay, for all of us staff of IIUM under this, for this particular thing. Okay, we are not allowed to send the same proposal to two different funders concurrently. We are not allowed to, yeah? It's wrong, yeah? Okay. Next, payment of GRA via vote 29,000. Okay, GRA via vote 29,000. That's number one. Okay. Payment for GRA, normally, which vote should we use? Does anyone know? Can you please unmute? I cannot see the chat. Do you know, any one of you? When we pay our GRA, which vote should we use? Does anyone know among the audience?
11,000.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Doctor. I do not know who you are. I can only see my slides. Very good. Vote 11K. GRA vote 11K, not vote 29,000. Vote 29,000. Normally, what do we use it for? Anyone?
Professional services.
Professional services. Thank you so much. Yes. Okay. So good. All right. We are going to look at the votes, at the different votes later. Yeah. Okay. But yes, we use for professional services and also payment for RA, research assistant, not GRA. Okay. So afterwards, I will also explain what's the difference between GRA and RA. Yeah. And also the payment exceeded the maximum amount for master 1,800. Okay, master student, yeah, you must know the maximum amount that you can pay. Yeah? So for GRA, yeah, the maximum amount is 1,800. Instead, the payment made was 2,300. This is wrong. 2,300 is for who? Which category of GRA? 2,300?
PhD student.
Wonderful. Good. Yes. Very true. Okay. For PhD students, 2,300. Okay. Now, next one. PI declared himself or herself as human capital. Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah. Okay. I don't know how did this happen. Okay. These are all cases, as I said. Okay. We were shocked as well. Okay. PI attended conference abroad without the approval of the program leader and Mohe. Here, these conferences abroad. Okay. This is regarding attending conferences abroad in person. Yeah. I mean, this is not, let's not think about the current situation we're facing now. We are in COVID situation. Okay, where everything can be done online. But last time, remember, we can travel abroad and all those things. Okay. So this particular PI, okay, program leader means that this is a big program. It could be TRGS or LRGS, transdisciplinary, where you have like one big project with different subsidiaries. Okay, so one of the project leaders, okay, had attended this conference abroad without informing the program leader, the big boss. Did not inform the big boss and did not get approval from Mohe, which is actually very wrong. That should not happen. Okay. Okay, next, publication enrichment was made to 2 or 3 grants from the same funder, from MOHE. Okay, you can do that, but then later on, you know, you cannot declare the publication as output for all the 3 grants, 2 to 3 grants. That is wrong. Only 1 grant. Okay, we will see how. Okay, there are processes and procedures for that. Okay. All right. So in the okay, integrity and ethics. Okay, some of the research misconducts that researchers should also avoid. Okay, this is taken from Urus Takbir, MOHE Urus Takbir. Okay, number 1 is dishonest reporting of the findings. For example, fabricate data, manipulate data, negligence in the collection and analysis of data for the purposes of fraud. Okay, and these things happen, brothers and sisters. I believe that what I can say is that at GMU, we do not go to the extent of analyzing or, you know, ensuring that, you know, whether these things happen or did not happen, or whether the trustworthiness of your data. We don't go to that extent, okay, of looking at your work. But what I can share with you was that when I was at CPS, okay, we have had cases of this nature, okay, for some of the research of some of the research done by the students. Okay, this supervisee thingy. Okay, we found this during, there was one I remembered during PhD Viva. Okay, this is a huge, but that one was more of plagiarism. It was plagiarized, and it became a court case. All right, so, but I know of this issue happening in Kuantan some time ago, where the data was fabricated, and that was also highlighted during a PhD Viva. Okay, so dishonest reporting. Okay, we should not do this. Okay, all right. Fabricate and distort the research progress, make outrageous statements and set aside the previous study finding, misuse of research funds. Okay, this is the GMU's main concern, misuse of research funds. We are trying to assist our brothers and sisters, educate our brothers and sisters, okay, on making sure that you are using the research funds accordingly. Okay, I think that is my niyyah. All right. Misuse of data and research finding for a negative purposes, plagiarize the work of others. Okay, this one is something that, you know, is happening. It is happening. It's happening not only among staff, but also among students. So this is something that we need to be very careful about. Okay, and you know, when I think about it, even when you when we talk about research, I believe that, you know, when you submit your proposal, when you first submit your proposal for any kind of grant, I would like to suggest that before you submit to the funder, run your proposal through the Turnitin. Okay, make sure that the similarity index is good, is you know, is low as possible. Then only you submit, because you know, they will check as well. Okay, so making sure that no plagiarism cases happen. Yeah. Okay, the penalty. Okay, this is something I want to highlight. Okay, something that I think all of you need to know. Okay, this is from, again, the MOHE Urus Takbir. Okay, activities that result in penalty. Okay, doesn't submit progress report and financial report. Okay, as on the date determined by the ministry. Restriction on budget expenditure. This is the penalty given. Okay, now so far I have to admit to you that, you know, it is here on paper, but it has not been implemented yet. And Alhamdulillah, luckily, MOHE is still like, okay, they're still giving us leeways. Okay, they're not strictly implementing this, because even in the recent submission of progress report, there were, I think the percentage of submission was about 86%, not even 100%. Okay, so luckily MOHE is not giving the penalty. Okay, or else it will have a great impact on those researchers who did not submit the report, yeah, the progress report. and then doesn't submit end of project report, PI is not allowed to apply for a new MOHE grant for 2 years and co-researcher for 1 year. You see, if you do not submit your end of project report, so you need to know all this. Project doesn't achieve the promised KPIs or deliverables, so PI again cannot apply for a new MOHE grant for 2 years and co-researcher for 1 year. Doesn't complete the research without providing strong justifications, no notification to the ministry through the RMC. Same juga. PI not allowed to apply for a new MOHE grant for 2 years and co-researchers for 1 year. Okay, and there is also a clause here which I highlighted in red. Researchers who had spent beyond the total amount approved after the end of the research duration due to recklessness need to pay back all the money spent unless there is a strong justification acknowledged by RMC. Okay, so this you have to take note of. So far, Alhamdulillah, we haven't had this kind of cases, Alhamdulillah. So please let us not have that. Okay, so that is why, brothers and sisters, we are looking into your work. We are looking at the way you spend your money so that you see, let me put it this way. If only one person among us does the mistake, the whole university will get the impact, will get the effect of it. All right, the whole university. RMC will be, our reputation, okay? IUM's reputation, like Prof. Amir mentioned just now, we are an Islamic university, okay? So they will really, MOHE will really make a big fuss out of it, okay? So that is why we are trying to jaga, we are trying to protect our brothers and sisters, okay? Not to be doing all this, and then later on say, I didn't know about it, So that is why we want to have this kind of sessions, okay? So that at the end of the day, you don't have to pay back your money, okay? Of course, people will be very angry, right? And then next one, I want to highlight, when we talk about ethics, responsible, okay? There's also another part that we also, not only in terms of our management of the research, but also another part of it is actually getting the ethics approval. I think some of our researchers now are more aware of the importance of ethics approval, okay? And I also noticed that some funders, all right, before they give the grant, okay, or in the guidelines, they have already mentioned that you need to get ethics approval. So it could be the requirement of funders, okay? Like for example, MCMC, they're very concerned about it. Actually, to be honest to all of you, I believe all MOHE grants, if you read the guidelines correctly, it is stated there that you are required to get ethics approval. Okay. So, and that's number one, funders, requirement by funders. Number two would be requirement by publishers. Some are based on our experience. Some publishers, before they accept your paper, they would want to see the evidence of approval on ethics for that particular research. Okay, so that is why I believe all of us should apply for this ethics approval. Okay, and you can visit this particular website here. Okay, IREC. IREC is actually part of RMC, which is placed in Kuantan. Okay, here, RMC Management Center, Kuantan. Okay, so please contact them. Please follow. See, they have all these forms and all those things. So please do that. Yeah, I also know that some of our researchers or colleagues at psychology, okay, even for FYP, final year project for undergraduate students, they also submit for ethics approval. Okay, so please make use of this. We have this service. Make use of it accordingly. Yeah? All right. Now we go into the guidelines and procedures in grant management. Okay. Now we are going into the guidelines. All right. So for this part, okay, there are going to be 4 major components that I will be touching on. Okay. The first one is in terms of the management of the research project. Okay. Number 2, management of finance and procurement. Okay, this is duit, money. Okay. Number 3, achievement of outputs. Okay. And number 4, monitoring of research project. Okay. Management of research. Okay. So number 1, change of scope or objective. Okay, change of scope or objective. Okay. When does this apply? When does this apply? Change of scope. Okay, I give you a situation. Yeah. Normally, this change of scope happens after. I'm relating this to Mohe grants. To Mohe grants. Let's say for during the recent announcement of FRGS 2021. Okay, let's say you have secured a grant. You have secured a grant from Mohe, the FRGS. So you managed to secure the grant, and you are requested to do revision to your proposal based on the comments from the evaluators or from the assessors. Okay, so then you realize that particularly in terms of the budget, when you look at the budget, for example, maybe you have requested for 170K. Okay, maybe that was the total amount that you have budgeted for, that you are requesting for 140K. Okay, 140K. So of course, when you prepare the budget, when you prepare the budget, it needs to commensurate with the scope of the study. The study must be equivalent to this 140K to justify why you need this much amount of money. Okay, right. So then you realize that when they actually approve your research and your proposal has been accepted, you notice that the funder has actually slashed the amount from 140K to 70K. And now you're scratching your head. Oh my God, they slashed half from 140 to 70. What am I going to do? You know, I cannot let go of this grant. I've already gotten it, right? So one of the considerations that you may take would be to change the scope. Okay, to change the scope or to reduce the objective of the your proposal. Okay, so when to do that? Okay, I advised the other day, we met all the recipients of FRGS 2021. The advice I gave to them was that do not ever make the changes of scope or objective in the revised proposal. They're not supposed to do that. Okay, so now I'm telling you, this is the procedure, the proper procedure if you want to change the scope of your study. Okay, so what would it be? How should it be done? Number 1, you need to make a formal application to Mohe for their consideration. Okay, this has to be done manually, not in the migrants, but manually. Okay, and you need to make this formal application within the first 6 months from the project start date. Okay, so meaning the beginning of the 6 months, that's when you submit your formal application to Mohe to request for a change of the scope or objective. And of course, you need to give proper justifications because of the reduction in the budget. You cannot cover the whole Malaysia. Maybe you can only cover a few states, for example, with that amount of money that they have given you. Okay, and maybe in terms of the objective, you cannot, earlier you mentioned 4, but now you have to reduce to 3, for example. So mention all that, give proper justification. All right, so it must be done within 6 months, and this is done manually. We need to send letters to Mohe for them to go through and get approval from them. Change of scope is only allowed once within the project duration. Only once sahaja. Okay. Don't have suddenly this alamak, very fickle. Some well, we are all humans, right? Sometimes we are fickle. Like sometimes you want to do it this way, that way, but no, you really have to sit down with your team, and you really need to make that decision. We're going to reduce this to this, and this is what we're going to do. That's it, full stop. Only once. Okay. So application made through RMC. So send the application to us, okay, with the justification plus relevant supporting documents, and we will give our support letter to Mohe for your application. Okay. So this is the procedure to do it. Okay. Do not ever change the scope or objective in the revised proposal. Tak boleh. Mohe can see that. Mohe can see that. They can detect that in the migrant system. Okay, next, change of PI. Okay, this is happening. Okay, change of PI because you know, I think in our context, this is something my team and I. This is something we realize. Unfortunately, due to COVID-19, okay, we realized that we are going through the grants or the projects, and we realized that there are quite a number of our dear colleagues who have left us due to COVID, okay? And some of these grants, they are not being managed now, okay? So, inshallah, we are going to approach the co-researchers of these grants and, you know, ask them whether they are willing to take over and things like that, you know? So this is something that is happening now, yeah, that we're facing now. So this change of PI. So that is true because of demise. The PI has passed away. So other situations that may require for the PI the PI ship to be changed is if the PI unable to perform his role for more than 3 months due to, for example, study or unpaid leave, retirement and of service, secondment, relocation to other organizations. Okay, secondment. If any one of you being seconded elsewhere, we had this year we had one case to Saudi, if I'm not mistaken. So she has to release all her PI ship to her co-researchers. Okay, or maybe health issues. Okay, so these are the reasons why you need to change the PI. And now sabbatical leave. If you're going for a sabbatical leave more than 6 months, you have to leave the PI ship. This is something maybe many of us are not aware of. All right. More than 6 months, you have to leave the PI ship. You have to give it to your co-researcher. This is Mohe's rule, okay, the guideline from Mohe. Okay. If there is no capable researcher, PI to suggest a capable researcher to replace him within the project team. Please get someone in the project. If there's no capable researcher to replace, a candidate from outside of the research group can be nominated. But please, you have to have very strong justification why you are taking in this candidate. And I also believe that it needs to, you know, for the sake of the team, okay, you need to get permission and agreement from all other team members. If you are taking somebody who's outside of the research group to be the PI, okay, because brothers and sisters, let me tell you this, you know, at GMU, we settle a lot of this masalah keluarga. Masalah keluarga, what I mean is not masalah keluarga personal family, but more of this, the research team family. Okay, a lot of Allahu Akbar, a lot. Okay, so we have to counsel, we have to give advice, and you know, brothers and sisters, the funny thing was, it's when I look at the conflict within the team, it's not so much about the research and all that, you know, but more of this communication, the communication problems between the members. Okay, or maybe you know, if they have 4 teams in one big project, okay, among the different teams, okay. So it was more of that, actually. We realized that it's more of communication, misunderstanding, merajuk, you know. Okay, so I have to be honest. These cases have been brought to us, and we have to counsel. Okay, the members. Okay, all right. Completed application along with justification must be submitted at least 1 month before the change of PI for Mohid's consideration. So this one PI sheet must be 1 month. Okay, so which means that you have to, if you know that you are going for secondment, so you have to do it earlier. Okay. And then co-researcher, okay, you can also, add co-researchers, okay, and application and valid justification need to be sent at least 1 month earlier for the addition of co-researchers, okay, for approval of RMC or MOHE. So right now it is at the RMC level. So just inform us, okay. You can give us the justification via email, okay. It need not be letters, okay. And then once we agree to it, then you can just add the person in the RMSB2. Okay. Okay, right. Now, extension of research project. Okay, extension of research project. I know that, for our research, normally it will be 2 years or 3 years. Yeah, all right. So, and of course, especially in this time of COVID, yeah, in this time of uncertainties, Allahu Akbar, there are so many issues if you talk about research and COVID, research activities and COVID, Allahu Akbar, they are just like, endless issues pertaining to this. And many researchers are asking us about extension, some of us, we have already submitted to MOHE in May. Yeah, in May, requesting for extension, but we have yet to receive any feedback from them up till today, even when the project is going to end by tomorrow. The end date of the project is tomorrow, but we have yet to receive any news regarding our extension of application for extension. Okay, so that's another thing with the ministry. Okay. But what I would like to inform my brothers and sisters here is that extension of research project is allowed. Okay, they are applicable based on these reasons here. Okay, based on reasons here. Okay, let's look at the reasons. Okay, delay in completion of research milestones due to the number 1, ethical approval, technical issues on research verification, procurement issues, error in data analysis, okay, difficulties in getting the right sample, additional number of database or sample, or research is still ongoing, or right now what I can see is due to COVID, most probably, like for example, some of our researchers in Kuantan, the problem that, or in engineering is that they have already, how shall I say, before COVID, they have already like developed certain things, like I have a friend in plant science, she has already grown certain kind of, I don't know, certain seeds or plants or whatever before COVID, and then suddenly COVID came, and everybody abandoned the labs, so all the seeds and the seedlings all dead when they came back 3 months after that. Okay, so they had to redo this kind of thing. So you can always request for extension, in cases like this, when because of COVID, things are spoiled in the lab. Okay, fungus in the lab when you came in, so these are the things that, if possible, I would say that, in cases of the labs, you should take pictures as well. When you give justification to MOHE, tell them, look, these are the things that are happening in my lab. Because I noticed that when researchers give justifications, they are in word form, just word. This happened, cerita, descriptive, very descriptive. To me, if I were the researcher, I would give the photo. Look at my dead plants or my dead seedlings or whatever. This is the thing. See fungus in my lab. Give all these visual evidences as well, I think. Then only they know the things that we as researchers are facing. Okay, so these are the reasons where you can apply. How many times? Once only. Okay, once only for extension. Application approval online via RMSB2 and funder system. Okay, so funder system, RMSB2 of course because it is internal. Funder system is migrant system, the migrant system. Yeah, and then approval by RMC and funder. Okay, application must be submitted at least 2 months before the end date. Okay, you need to submit this earlier. All right. There is actually a clause stated in the guideline. I mean, MOHE's guideline that states if let's say we also realize that some of our researchers, they have just realized that, oh my goodness, my grant is going to end tomorrow 30th of September. So they have just applied for extension, I think this week. Well, we still accept and we'll still send it to MOHE, but MOHE has clearly stated that if it is if it's already the time, it's not this 2-month period, sometimes they may not entertain. But we at RMC, we will always support our researchers. Do not worry about that. Yeah, okay, we will not stop. Okay, the duration for extension can be 3 months or 6 months depending on the justification given. Okay, all right. Now, when I look at the RMSB2 and funder system here, okay, I would like to highlight something to every one of you, yeah, regarding RMSB2 and funder system, particularly migrant, because that is the most common system that we deal with, okay. But I believe other funders, okay, they may have a different system altogether. Like for example, MOSTI, they have their own system, yeah. Like some of our international funders, they have their own system, yeah. What is it? Yeah? Sumitomo Foundation, Sumitomo Foundation, they have their own system. Okay. So what I would like all of you to understand is that RMSB2 is our internal IUM personalized system. Okay. My grant is developed by MOHE, by ministry, not by us. We have no hand in the system. Okay. We don't know. They're using different system, different language. Okay. So because some of our researchers, when they do things on RMSB2, they thought that it is linked to my grant. They thought that whatever that they do in RMSB2 will be taken up in my grants. No, the two systems do not talk to each other, brothers and sisters. So that is why when you submit the progress report, like the one that you did in August, okay, when you submit the progress report in my grants, you also need to do the same thing in the RMSB2, so that the report will tally. The report, the report in the RMSB2 as well as in my grant will be the same. Okay, so that's why it's very important. Okay, next, project duration. Okay, justifications that are not considered for extension. Just now, I showed you reasons. So use these reasons. Use these reasons. Okay, but do not use these reasons when you want to request for extension. Number 1, attending conferences, local or international. We have had researchers who wrote this to MOHE because they want to attend conferences. So brothers and sisters, when you want to attend conferences, please make sure that those conferences will happen within the time period of your active duration of your grant. Okay, not beyond it. Okay, GRA payment. Some of the researchers, because I need to pay up my GRA, I want to finish off the payment because there's still some money left. Tak boleh ya, because once basically MOHE will not entertain this. Okay, if the reason is because you want to pay your GRA. Okay, a publication of books or book chapters. Okay, it's not allowed. Okay, you will not get the extension. procurement of new asset near the end of the project. This happened, brothers and sisters. This happened in our university. Okay? Because then Mohe asked us, or asked the researcher, how come you are, when we say asset, procurement of asset, you're buying something, okay, an instrument, a gadget, or not a gadget, a big thing, all right, which is going to be very fundamental to your research, which you have justified strongly in your proposal, which you should have bought at the beginning of your research, not towards the end of the project. Okay, so when Mohe saw this, they did not approve of this. Okay, spending the remaining balance. Oh, this is we receive a lot of this, brothers and sisters. Spending the remaining balance. Dr. Adlina, I would like to request for an extension sebab I still have some money lah dalam saya punya FRGS. I want to finish off. Don't worry, doctor. If you do not finish the money, tak apa. Tak salah. Okay? It's alright. Meaning to say, you have done your research, you have successfully completed the research, and there is still balance to it. It's okay. Furthermore, you must remember that money doesn't belong to you. I repeat, that grant money, okay, is only put under your name, but the actual money actually belongs to the government of Malaysia. I'm talking about Mohe grants. Actually belongs to the government of Malaysia. So do not worry. Whatever, let me tell all of you what happens to the balance of the money, of the grants that we have. Okay. Now normally what happens is that the money, let's say for me, okay, I have a balance of 10K. Let's say I have a balance of 10K for my FRGS. Okay, right. I don't need to worry that, oh my God, I have to finish this because I want to make sure that, you know, my the budget utilization is 100%. I don't worry about that because that 10K, all right, later on for the new FRGS cycle for 2020, okay, the government will top up whatever balance that there's still there. Okay, if let's say I have closed the grant, so the balance, okay, let's say, for 2020 FRGS, let's say UIA managed to secure certain amount of money, so they will just top up that amount. Okay, let's say we managed to secure, like this year, we managed to secure 5 million, if I'm not mistaken, 5 million. So the transfer of money need not be total of 5 million, but looking at what is the balance that we have within the university, then they top up. So we don't have to worry about that. Okay, so don't worry that, alamak, I have to spend, I kena siapkan, settlekan the amount. Tak, you tak perlu habiskan, ya. Okay, and other reasons without strong justifications. Now, however, there is a clause here. This is new, brothers and sisters. This is new. You can request for a 3-month extension if you want to publish articles in WOS or Scopus. This is new, okay, for information. And then attending conferences abroad, okay. This one is actually, this one for if you have to be there in person, okay, right? But please take note that poster presentation is not allowed. Oral presentation is allowed, even virtual presentation. Now we do a lot of virtual presentations, so no problem. But what I want to highlight is that for Mohe, there is a qualification criteria, okay, for you to attend the conferences abroad. But of course, for virtual presentation, we don't really look at that. But if you are, later on, when the new norm allows you to travel to UK, to European countries, okay, you may want to know that there are certain qualification criteria and also general terms that you need to abide by. Okay, so number one is qualification criteria for science and engineering and social science. There are 2 categories. Okay, so number one, qualification, only PI and project members are allowed for conferences abroad. Okay, only PI. Students are not allowed. You cannot bring your GREs with you. You and your co-researchers. Okay, now for science and engineering, the qualification criteria is, okay, for staff under 5 years of service, okay, in order for you to be eligible to go to conferences abroad, okay, in person, not virtual, in person, you have to make sure that you have published 2 articles in Scopus Index Journal, 2 chapters in research book, or 2 chapters in research book, or 1 research book, okay, for under 5 years. Over 5 years, 5 Scopus Index publication within the last 3 years, or 5 chapters in research books, or 2 research books. Okay, this is for science and engineering. For social science, staff under 5 years, 2 reference journal, or 2 chapters in research books, or 1 research book. Staff over 5 years, 5 index publication within the last 3 years, 5 chapters in research books, and 2 research books. Okay, so that is why, brothers and sisters, I would like to urge all of us, including myself, to constantly update our publication data in the migrant system. Because then they will, when they want to check, they know that, okay, you have followed all this. You have abided by the qualification. You are qualified to go. Now, certain things that you must also take note of, okay? Number 1, conferences are directly related to the research. This is very, very important, okay? It's like this, brothers and sisters. In plain words, what I'm trying to tell you is that if you are going to attend the conferences using the grant money, you have to make sure that the conferences are directly related to the research. If it is not related to the research, use your own money, okay, or from other sources, okay. But if you want to use the grant money, you have to make sure that it is related to the research. And not only the conferences, but also the papers presented, because this happened, brothers and sisters. We came across a few cases, where some of our, quite a number, I have to admit that, quite a number of our researchers, okay, let's say for this one particular conference, they submitted about 4 papers. 4 papers. So what we at GMU would do is actually, we are going to look at the title of your research, okay, and then look at the title of the articles. If we are not sure, we will resort to seek advice or opinion from experts in the field, okay, whether it is related or not. And I have to admit that there are cases where these articles are not related. That's number 1. Okay, please remember, brothers and sisters, you have to submit papers that are related to the research. If they are not related, you pay by yourself. Don't use the grant. If you want to, you want to achieve other KPIs, your publication or whatever, then those things you have to pay on your own. Okay, but if you want to use the grant money, you have to make sure they are directly related to your research. That's number 1. Okay, allowed in year 2 only. Okay, in year 2 meaning if you go in person. I'm not talking about virtual. Virtual, I think sekarang ni people just go je, tak ada masalah But I'm talking about in person This one, that's why I put here pre-COVID. 1 trip is allowed within the project duration. Only 1 trip is allowed, and of course using the cheapest means. Okay, maximum of 2 researchers within the same project. Okay, of course potential to build network, publish books. Okay, here if you are going in person, I'm talking about future, brothers and sisters. Okay, for future, if let's say you have to make sure that the conferences is not organized by a local organizer. They do not agree to this. They do not allow this. A local organizer, what I mean is that sometimes we do have local universities, like for example, I'm just giving an example, okay? Let's say UPM, they are organizing a conference in Turkey. Okay, they have collaboration with one another organization or with another institution in Turkey. Okay, so but that conference is under UPM. That is what it means by, we are not allowed to attend overseas conference organized by a local organizer. So please take note of this, because some of our local universities, they love to do this to attract international participants. Okay, subject to overseas conference, which is approved in the project proposal by Mohit, subject to sufficient amount in the grant. Okay, here subject to sufficient amount in the grant. It's also very important. Okay, next, local conferences. Local conferences. Please again, okay, please make sure Papers presented are directly related. Conferences are also directly related. This one, brothers and sisters, ni. Very, very important. Only GRA and the researchers are allowed to attend using the grants. Only the GRA. The grant cannot be used to send other students such as FYP students, bracket undergraduate, or other PG students to present their papers. I am putting this because we notice that that is happening. And normally when I get this kind of thing, I will ask the researchers myself, why? Don't you know that, I will, she said, no, sorry, no, I didn't know. No one told me. That's the thing. No one told me. So that is why I feel that it's very important for researchers to attend this kind of thing so that you know what are the things that you should not do. At least you will not, because some of them, when we reject the application, they are very angry at us. And they're very nasty. Their words are very nasty. But of course, we will remain calm and we will just say that we are very sorry because this is stated in the guidelines and we are just following what is stated. If you want to send, not that you cannot send your FYP students or other postgraduate students, you can, but do not use the grant money. That's all. Okay? All right. So please take note because this is rampantly happening. I noticed that now, especially now. Okay? Potential to build good networking, publish books, and of course, sufficient amount in the grant. Regarding this, we also noticed that for FRGS Racer, there are quite a number of recipients who do not have any budget to pay for conference fees in their vote 29. I do not know why. Okay, maybe they were not advised when they were writing the proposal. I have no idea, but that is the thing that is happening now. Okay. Now we go to the money part. Okay, you have to know the financial guidelines. Okay, definitely, it's very, very important. And financial guidelines, I have to admit to you that we at GMU, we work very closely with finance office in Division 2. Okay, and we have to abide by the financial rules and regulations. Okay, of course, sometimes we also disagree with them in certain things, but we will always try to settle things amicably, okay, for the benefits of the researchers as well as the university in protecting the integrity of the university. Okay, we want to follow, but we come to some kind of a new way of doing things. Okay, so the most important thing is you have to know the guidelines. Okay, and you are supposed to spend the grant prudently according to the projected amount as approved in the proposal. Approved in the proposal. How much has been approved? You have to look at the votes. Okay? Before you want to spend the money, brothers and sisters, my advice is go back to RMS and see, how much balance do I have? Boleh ke tak boleh ni? Can I do this or not? Yeah? Look at how much is left. And how much is approved and how much is left before you spend. Okay. Guidelines on expenses. This one very, very important. This page is very important. It has all the votes, the different votes. Okay. So vote 11,000 is for the payment of your GRA, salary and wages. Okay. For your GRA. Graduate research assistant means your PG student. Okay. Vote 21,000, travelling expenses and subsistence. Vote 24 on rental. Vote 2627, research materials and supplies. 28, maintenance services. 29, this one, professional services, honorarium, conference fees, publication fees, printing, editing, and other services. In my opinion, you have to have quite a lot when you do your budget. Try to put quite a substantial amount here because you're going to use a lot, for in vote 29. However, we have come across grants where researchers did not allocate any amount for 29,000, and we are like, wow. Does it mean because we feel it's a bit odd because the output is publication. Okay, so when you want to publish, you need to pay the publication fees, and yet in your budget, you did not put anything for publication fees, which falls under vote 29,000. So when you submit your claim, how are we going to approve? Because you did not even request for that amount. Okay, you did not even request for the amount for publication fees. So you see, it all starts from your proposal. You see, you have to do it right from the very beginning so that the whole process will be smooth. All right, and then vote 35,000 equipment. Okay, this is an asset. All right. Okay, procurement for asset supplies and services. Okay, only allowed if the asset supplies and services had been stated and approved. This is important. Approved in the proposal paper, approved by the funder. Then only we will also allow it to happen. Okay, we will put down our signature. If it's not approved, we will not agree to it. We will not approve it. A purchase of assets in the last 6 months of the project duration is not allowed. Okay, so this one is all purchasing of assets. Okay. Okay, procurement. What can be procured? Okay, research materials, chemical sets, chemicals, etc. Vote 27, research equipment 35, and services 29, depending. So how to procure? Below 20K, procurement approval form. Above 20K, a proposal needs to be prepared. Above 20K. What document needed? Okay, quotation from vendor. Below 20K, 1 quotation. Above 20K, 50K, 3. Above 50K, 200K, 5 quotations. So brothers and sisters, you may think that, Allah, leceh lah. How come there's so many things we have to know, so many things we have to... Brothers and sisters, quotation, for example, I'm telling you, this part here, quotation from vendor and all that, this doesn't come from RMC. This comes from the financial unit of the university. They told us that this is the standard procedure. So that is why we are telling our researchers. We are actually the spokesperson for finance juga lah. Okay, to ensure that you are purchasing things according to the proper procedure, proper order. Okay, now let's look at the approval. Below 20K, Deputy Director of MC. Okay, above 20K, Director of MC. Above 50 to 100, Finance Director and Director. Okay, and then procurement order PO. PO will be issued by Finance to successful vendor. Payment, required documents, the DO, invoice, and the PO. And then, of course, once you have purchased the asset, okay, you will get a QR code for asset tagging of the asset, of the thing that has been purchased. Okay, all right. Using budget after end of project. Okay, many researchers they're asking us, can we still use it? You cannot use it already. Okay, once your project ends, okay, you are not allowed to utilize the money anymore. Let's say tomorrow is tomorrow 30th of September is the end date of your project. So whatever claims must be done prior, must be settled prior to the end date. Okay, must be done prior to the end date. And this is particularly for MOHE grants. MOHE grants, here, look here. Yeah? For MOHE grants, all claims must be made before project ends. For MOHE grants, okay? The 3 months allowance, all claims here, it says here, all claims must be made within 3 months after the end date of the project date. This is only applies to university grants and sponsored projects. Okay, so what it means is, okay, for MOHE grants, okay, you have to submit all your claims before, if let's say the end date of your project is 30th of September, you have to do everything, settle all the claims for all the purchases, advancement report ke apa ke, you have to do it before 30th of September. However, for university grants or sponsored projects, okay, you have a grace period of 3 months to settle all your claims and whatever not. Okay, but then again, it depends on the funder. For sponsored projects, it depends on the funder. We have many external funders. Okay, so we need to see what has been agreed between the researcher and the funder. Some funders normally funders will give this 3 months leeway or grace period to settle claims, but MOHE doesn't, unfortunately. Okay, research advancements. Okay, there are 2 types: traveling advancement, okay, and also miscellaneous advancement. The amount for traveling that you can request for is a maximum of 10K. Miscellaneous 10K, not allowed for vote 11. GRA you cannot use, and asset you cannot use. Advancement report to be submitted for traveling 1 month after you come back, and for miscellaneous 6 months after you come back. Okay, this one, cash advances to cover reasonable expenses for research purposes. Okay, so this one is also research advancement for the research materials and supplies. Okay, and also for vote 29, how to apply, submit by RMSB2, approval by Deputy Director or the Kuliah. Okay, and then amount and duration, okay, up to 100K or 30%, whichever is lower. Cash, this one is cash advances are to be reconciled within 6 months after disbursement. Okay, 6 months. Okay, so when you reconcile, please make sure that you keep all the receipts, the original receipts. Please, finance is very particular about this. They want the original, okay? So you need to, those bills, whatever, you paste it nicely on that A4 paper and submit to finance. They want that. Failure may result in deduction of salary. Brothers and sisters, this has happened to some of our researchers, okay? Their salary has been deducted. Of course, they're very angry, but what can be done? But of course, when the salary is deducted, we don't. I mean, finance will not like deduct like 10K lump sum like that. No, it's bit by bit. Okay. Okay. Research claim. Research claims must be verified by the receipts. Must be verified by the dean or the DDPG research, HOR, HOD. Okay, must be verified. Get their signature. Validation of the receipt is 6 months. 6 months, okay. Purchasing equipment of 35K is not included. Okay, in the claim, you cannot do it in claim form. Okay, you have to use the procurement if you want to purchase asset. Refreshments for meetings are unclaimable unless approved in the budget. Okay, I am stating this because this has happened. Some researchers, when they, I mean, this one is before COVID. Some researchers, they go here and there, they go to this hotel, that hotel for their research meetings, and then they want to claim for the meals, all right? But then when we look at the budget, the approved budget, it was never approved for refreshments. Refreshments was not there. You have never requested for it, and the amount has never been approved. So we do not approve this. We do not allow this then. Now, for FGD as data collection, okay, focus group discussion. Now, some of our researchers, okay, the data collection method that they use is focus group discussion. Okay, focus group discussion. So if you are having this kind of data collection method in your research, please prepare a proposal plus the budget. Okay, you need to prepare a proposal. You can get the template of the proposal from RMC's website. Okay, where the claim for refreshment is allowed. Okay, put it down in the proposal. So that will be part of your budget for FGD. Okay, so professional service must submit appointment letter. So for professional service, you must submit appointment letter of that person. Okay. What research claim? What can be claimed? All expenses related to research and approved in the budget only. Approved in the budget. Okay. How to claim? Via RMSB2. Attachment, approved claim form, and verify original receipts. Okay. Approval. Validity of receipt 6 months. Processing time at the finance zone 2 within 14 working days. So normally, alhamdulillah, I believe that all claims. I believe they are working quite fast. Okay, especially now when things are online. All right. issues on claims that we noticed, okay, payment claim for food for meeting with GRAs and co-researchers, but this was never budgeted and was never approved in the proposal, so we do not approve of this. Some of them use the grant money to request to pay membership fees for some, professional bodies. We do not approve of this. You know, the thing is this, brothers and sisters, the grant money is for you to be used according to the budget approved. Okay, what did you request and what was approved from your request? The grant money should not be regarded as a pocket money where you can use it any way you like. Nak bayar itu, nak bayar ini, nak bayar phone bills, ni ada ni. Top up touch and go mobile prepaid claims. Okay, claim for conference fee but there was no allocation for conference fee in the budget. Claim for conference fee without approval for attending the conference. Ni memang selalu lah ni. Okay, attending conference but no approval to attend the conference. No approval from the kuliah doesn't know about this. Yeah, so tak boleh ya. You have to get the approval if you want to attend the conference. Fill up the application to attend conference first. Then attend the conference, after that you claim. Alright? Alright, so now ni top up for TNG cards. Ada juga we receive this. But the thing is, my point is that these things happen because we do not approve all this because it was never budgeted. Number one, it was never budgeted in the proposal. Number two, it was never approved in the proposal. Okay, suddenly you want to request for mobile prepaid claims. Memang tak boleh. Okay, stationery, data collection activities, FGD without proposal or approval from RMC. And then suddenly the researcher submits claim for FGD activities. How are we going to, because the activity was never approved in the first place. Okay, so you need to get the approval from the university first, okay, before you can submit the claim. Okay, you can also do budget reallocation of your your votes, the different votes, okay, because we know that sometimes you don't have enough money in certain votes, okay, so you can buy, okay. And for MOHE grants, okay, the environment cannot exceed 50% of the initial amount of the vote approved. So we talk about the different votes, kan? Just now we talk about vote 11K, 29 and all that. So the movement, when you want to move the money from one vote to another, just make sure that the reallocation, the budget reallocation will not exceed 50% of the initial amount of vote approved. The approved vote, okay, cannot exceed 50% of that approved vote. Okay. Okay, now purchases that are not allowed for MOHE grants. I'm stating here for MOHE grants. Okay. Purchases, number one, purchases not related to research, items not approved in the proposal, payment for membership fees in local or international bodies, purchases of ICT or communication items such as handphones, laptops, printers, ink cartridges, unless approved by the funder. Unless approved, then only you can purchase this. Okay, we will approve the claim. But if we check the budget in the migrant system and we notice that it was not approved by MOHE, we will not approve the claim. Okay, utilities and communication bills, rental of venues, spaces, offices, storage devices like pen drives and all those things, hard drives, okay, office furniture, tables, chairs, filing for intellectual property. This one here. Please take note, brothers and sisters. For MOHE grants, not PRGS, because PRGS they have allocation for intellectual property because they have to go for patent, But filing for intellectual property, what I'm talking about is FRGS particularly. Okay, because brothers and sisters, I know that many of us, when we submit application for FRGS, we will put their copyright, at least copyright of the model, of whatever, of the framework that we are coming up with. Okay, So we have the copyright, but please remember that that there's no budget for copyright. So copyright has to be borne by the researcher. Okay, you have to be borne by the researcher. So that is something I want you to keep in mind. Yeah. Okay, if you have promised for copyright, please remember that the budget for the filing of that copyright will be borne by the researcher. Okay, achievement of outputs. Okay, now this one important. GRA. GRA. Okay, let's look at this important individual in our research. Okay, what is GRA? GRA stands for Graduate Research Assistant, and who are they? They are Malaysian and international postgraduate MA PhD student on active status. Active, brothers and sisters, active status, which means that when you appoint them through the RMSB2, okay, when we see their status, because their status, the data of our students, of our postgraduate students, will be extracted from the CPS system. Okay, so please make sure that your students is on active status, not dismissed, not terminated. Please, this is very important. Not withdrawn. There is a case yesterday I received. Withdrawn. The student has withdrawn, but the researcher wants to pay the student. Macam mana tu? Okay. Please make sure that your student is active, on active status during the during the time of appointment. Active status. Number two, the GRA is a supervisee of the principal investigator or the co-researchers. Okay, supervisee of the principal investigator or co-researchers. All right. Number three, research mode and thesis must be related to the research project. Thesis must be related to the project, please. The thesis must be related because Mohi will check. When you upload on my grant, they want to see the title of the thesis is, is related to the title of the grant. Mesti, yeah. Okay. The appointment of the GRA can be done via RMSB2. I will show you how in a while. Number five, the minimum duration of the appointment to be considered as output is 12 months. Not 6 months. Dulu 6 months, but now 12 months. Okay. Please abide by this maximum, the ceiling amount for the payment of the GRAs. For master students, 1,008. For PhD, 2,003. You pay using vote 11K, salary and wages. Contract and extension of appointment is allowed if the status, if the project is still on active status. So you can extend the appointment of researcher of the GRA if your project is still on active status. The project is still active, right? Now, if there are among you here who are recipients of FRGS 2021, okay, okay, I'm sorry, this slide is tersalah sikit. This is under publication. I'll come back to this slide later, yeah. Sorry, yeah. This one. This is the one. For FRGS 2021, the guideline is a little bit different. That is why I said, brothers and sisters, when we go for certain grants, yeah, number one, what we need to do is actually read the guidelines and understand it very clearly what we are facing. Okay, because we at GMU, we noticed that recipients of FRGS 2021, the conditions for them is a bit different from other FRGS recipients in other years. 2021 ni saya nampak special sikit lah. Okay, different ya. Okay, what do I mean by that? Contoh ya. Okay, here, international PIs are required to train a Malaysian PhD or master student. Ini mesti. Which means that if the PI is our international staff, okay, so the output is only one PhD student, so that one PhD student must be a Malaysian PhD student. Okay? Now, for a project that has 2 master students as GRAs, one of them must be a Malaysian. Okay, so this needs to be followed by all recipients of FRGS 2021. Luckily, it's only for 2021. Mohe did not backdate this to other years because they like to do that. Luckily, they did not. Now, even in terms of the payment, you see there's a difference here. The maximum amount for master student is 2,000 for FRGS 2021. 2,000. For PhD student, the amount has been increased from 2,300 to 2,500. So you see additional of 200 ringgit. And this is for FRGS 2021. So please, my dear brothers and sisters, take note of this. There are differences, okay? Each year I have to admit, each year the guideline will always be different. Ada je changes that they make, okay? So that's why we need to be aware of it. Okay, talent. Okay, this one basically what I have mentioned just now, but I just want to highlight here. The status of the GRA, whether in progress or graduated, need to be updated through the migrant system, even when the period of the research has ended. You may update the info later. Okay, so please make sure that, okay, you have, because eventually you have to share the information about the student's graduation, whether the student graduated or not, kan? So you can always do that. Okay, do not worry. Some of our researchers, like this now, some of our researchers, they come to me and they told me, Dr. Adlina, I'm so worried lah. My student in December, I punya project is going to end in September, all right, and my student will be submitting the thesis in December, and you know, like my project will end earlier than the person's graduation or submission of thesis. So my advice to the researcher is that jangan worry, do not worry, focus on your research. If your research ends lah, habis lah. Okay, your GRA, the studies can be, you know, the person may extend for another year, kita pun tak tahu, or for another semester. But the point is this. Let's say your student graduates a year after the completion of your research. Alhamdulillah, tak apa. Request from your student the Senate letter on the successful completion of the studies too. The Senate letter, request for 1 copy, and then you upload on Migrants. You upload that document on Migrants. So you can do that. You can always update it later, even after you have already completed the research. Tidak apa. It's not wrong. Jadi tak perlu nak rush your student. I punya ni nak next month nak kena tutup grant. You kena siapkan thesis you. Memanglah it's nice to push them like that kan. But sometimes, you know, now ni we have so many problems with GRAs. Tak apa. They have their own study period dia. Kita punya timeline, okay? So later you can update that information later regarding their graduation, yeah? Okay. This one, I don't want to focus on this so much. Okay, yeah, now, differences between GRA and RA. This is something very, very important, yeah? The type of student, okay, GRA, let's look at GRA first, okay, so that all of us are clear. What is the meaning of RA? What is the meaning of GRA? Okay, now, GRA is postgraduate student, okay? The appointment duration will be throughout the project. The payment made is through vote 11K. And the status is, it will be the output for talent. But for RA, brothers and sisters, RA is different. RA ni stands for research assistant. They could be undergraduate or postgraduate students. You employ them on a short-term basis. Short-term for simple tasks. Okay, macam freelancing lah. Dia buat short task for you. Very short duration, sometimes 2 weeks or a month. Okay, lepas tu dah bayar, settle. And it is paid via vote 29,000 under honorarium. Okay. The similarities between this is that you need to have appointment letters lah. RA ke, GRA ke, you need to have appointment letters. Okay. But these are the differences. I think all of us must have a clear idea of this. Must have a clear idea of this. Okay. And then for, I just want to highlight, for SP, sponsored projects where you have external funders, I noticed that some funders in their guidelines, of course, they don't use the word GRA tau. They use the word RA. They use the word RA. So you have to identify whether is the student an output of the grant. If the student is an output of the grant, then you should register the student under vote 11K. But if the student is not an output, let's say external funders normally dia orang tak kisah sangat they don't really go for this talent and all that kan. They just want somebody to help you. So actually it's more of RA lah here, honorarium to 29,000. So you register the person under this vote lah. Meaning to say you put the budget under vote 29,000 for payment of RA. Jangan letak under vote 11,000 for sponsored project. Okay. Okay, these are the steps when you want to register your GRA on RMSB2. Okay. PG student must be registered with CPS. The PG student must register their bank details with the finance division student unit. Kena buat ini dulu. The student must do this first. Once this is settled, then only this is what the researcher must do. Number 1, log in to RMSB2. Click researcher, request submission, research and then research assistant application. Fill up relevant information and attach requested documents. For example, like offer letter dan sebagainya. And then submit. Okay, ini steps dia ya. Okay, publication. Okay, next output is publication. Okay, ini only publication index in Scopus, WOS and ERA are accepted as output. Okay, FRGS 2021 index in my site. Ini something extra lah untuk FRGS 2021. Status must be published. Okay, this one is the status of the articles must be published. No more accepted tau. No more accepted. These are applicable to all active grants on 24 January 2020. Ini for Mohe grants please. Now, publish date must not be prior to the project commencement date. This is what we notice, brothers and sisters. Ada some of our researchers, when they submitted their articles as an output for their grant, kita tengok, because some articles, you notice that there is a submission date, approved date, published date. Kita pelik sebab grant dia started later. Artikel ni earlier. Before dia dapat grant tu pun lagi. Before the grant was secured. You know. So obviously, you know, it's not correct lah. It's not correct to do that lah. That's why we are talking about being ethical and responsible ni. Okay. So normally we do not accept this kind. We do not accept that article as an output. We will return the thing to the researcher. Kita tak boleh approve ya. Alright. Acknowledgement ni, issue acknowledgement ni banyak sangat dah problem Please brothers and sisters, if you have Mohe grant kan, please be very very careful when you write the acknowledgement of the project code Please do it like this you do it something like this This research was supported by Ministry of Education or Higher Education, whichever lah. Our education ministry ni pun, you know, they keep on changing the name flip-flop juga through fundamental research grant scheme. Okay, and then you put the coding. You put the grant code here, and please make sure you use the one in the my grant system. Okay, that has UIAM ni, very important. Guna ni. Okay, do not use the grant code that you get from RMSB2. Jangan guna our internal system, guna ini. Alright, very important. And then if let's say, if an acknowledgement is given to more than one grant from the same funder. Same funder, maknanya same funder Mohe, but you are giving acknowledgement to more than one grant. Maknanya you have TRGS, FRGS, okay? So, what does it say here? The publication will be considered as the KPI to the first mentioned grant. So, the first mentioned grant is TRGS. So, that publication is considered as an output for the TRGS sahaja. Bukan for the FRGS. You cannot submit this article as an output for both grants. Salah. Because we are going to check the acknowledgement. Okay. So tak boleh. Only for TRGS. In this situation, only TRGS. Now, the second situation, if there's more than one funder, first acknowledgement must be given to the highest contributor followed by the others. Okay. So for example, here, you can see there's one funder, ministry is the funder, Mohe Grant, FRGS, and then also we have My Brain 15, and then also we have self-fund research grant, L0022 from Ministry of Science and Mestec. So ada 3 funders, different funders, semua ni. So how do you list them down? You put the first funder as the highest contributor. Okay, the highest contributor. As the first funder, okay? All right, next is intellectual property. Okay, so now intellectual property is handled by the library. So you can contact the library for IP filing, yeah? Especially copyright lah, for copyright, yeah? For patent would be our office lah, INC, okay? Okay, monitoring of research grants, okay? So basically, okay, I have another 7 minutes more. Very quickly, yeah. So basically, this is the flow. This is the flow from the right to the left. So first, we have research activation. Okay, research project and allocation registered in RMS B2 and IFES. Revision in funder system has been approved. Ini Mohe lah ni. Okay, so you have to make sure that you have done the revised proposal very, very carefully and it has been approved. Then only you can use the money. Kalau the revised proposal is not approved by Mohe, susah you nak guna duit. Okay, susah nak guna duit. Okay, except for payment of JRA boleh. Okay. Research duration, the grant is active from the start date to the end date only. KPI publication sometimes depends lah on what you have promised. Okay. Research progress, ini. Tolong ya, tolong. For Mohe grants, okay, you are requested to submit your progress report 2 kali sahaja setahun. 2 kali sahaja setahun, okay, twice per year, okay, which is in February and in July. July or August lah, like this year, from 15th of July up till end of August. They gave us such a long time. So please, right, when you do the progress report, okay, my advice is, if it is Mohe grant, you do it on my grant and then you also do it on RMSB2. Buat dua-dua sekali. Okay, so that the report will tally. Nampak cantik. Yeah? Penalty, I think we have already talked about penalty just now for non-submission of a progress report. Yeah? Now, research extension, as mentioned earlier, please, extension is only allowed once, maximum of 6 months. Okay, this is under normal circumstances, but I believe that due to COVID kan kita dah dapat dekat 9 months extension, so that one is automatic extension. Yeah? Okay. Research and report, inilah ni, research profile, all these things you have to prepare. Okay, for the research and report. Okay, and this is for Mohe grants. Okay, completion of research project. Who is responsible? Of course, the PI and the team members. When to submit? The 3 months after the end date. What to submit? Here are the evidences required. Okay, and a project report, research profile, infographic publication, and research impact to the Coda per Helix. online via RMSB2 and also dalam funder punya system like My Grants for example or MOSTI or Mestek. And then project status, output of the project meeting the target, the status will change to completed yang kita nak ya. Okay, and there are also other project other status definition. Ada yang completed KPI achieved. Okay, completed KPI achieved meaning the research is complete tapi KPI pun achieved. Completed KPI not achieved meaning the research completed tapi KPI tak achieved. Okay. Ada yang incomplete, okay, no progress, okay, or progress very minimal and grant utilization more than 50%. Okay, terminated, research not active, no progress report. Nah, ini memang terminated lah. Ini memang, so far we have never done this lah, terminated. Withdraw ada. This one is because of certain reasons given by the researcher. Okay, my last here. So as I mentioned just now, final progress report ni lah ya. And then I just want to highlight this thing here in red. Appointment of JRA must be made in the first year of research. Tolong ya. Tolong. You know, you can always, once you have, for example, like FRGS 2021 recipients, okay, now you should be trying to go and get the GRAs. Okay, you should, you know, promote your research, advertise your research, okay, get GRAs. Mesti dapat ya. Because we have problems with FRGS racer ya. Because some of them, they were not able to get students about a year. Memang susah lah because we have to give report to Kementerian, we have to give a presentation, verbal presentation on presentation to Kementerian, and they ask us all these questions why FRGS researchers are not able to get, you know, memang masalah. So tolong, yeah, try to get, because once you get JRA, insyaAllah, the research can move, yeah, all right. So my last advice to all of us here, including myself, do the right things and do things right. Okay, so that's it from me. Allahu Akbar. Okay, Ain?
Okay, Alhamdulillah, for the very beneficial thoughts, and again, and again, no breaks.
Yalah, tak apalah. I can take it, no problem.
Okay.
Okay.
Actually,
Questions,
Doctor, there are a few questions here. In the chat, in the chat area, but some of them were answered already.
Yeah.
Okay.
Saya minum sekejap ya.
Okay. And
Sila tanya.
okay, there's a question for, is there any restriction on the amount of honorarium for RA, undergraduate, master's, PhD, or up to the amount of tasks the RA completed and discretion of the PI and the co-researchers? Okay, for this, actually we don't have restriction on the amount, Doctor, right? Or do you want to explain, Doctor?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Right. Okay, I know, I think we have received this question in our WhatsApp group with the HOR the other day, regarding whether there is a cap in terms of the payment of RAs, research assistant, via vote 29K. For your information, we do not have. Yeah, we do not have any guidelines. We don't cap. Yeah, so but then again, of course, you have to. It is up to the discretion of the researcher. Okay, because you yourself will know. Yeah, the kind of task that the student needs to do, and then the duration. How much are you paying? Kan? Because short term, ya, RA ni kan short term kan, 2 weeks ke ataupun 1 bulan ke, you appoint dia buat ni. So this is the payment that, this is the amount that you will be paid for, yeah. So it's up to you lah. It's up to the discretion of the researcher. That's my answer to that question. Yes, we can have a, you know, any one of you can unmute yourself and Brother Muhammad Saiful Ihsan, yes, please.
Assalamualaikum, Dr. Alina.
Waalaikumsalam.
I'm Syaful Ihsan from Kuala Medicine, Kuantan.
Yes, brother.
Actually, I'm quite new in FRGS, so I would like to know about technical part. because in clinical research we need to have approval from the ethics committee, for example MREC,
Yeah.
for the clinical research. So I would like to know technically, should we recruit a master student after approval of ethics committee, or we can recruit earlier? Because I believe that if we recruit before the ethics approval, probably the data collection cannot be started. So should we wait for the ethics approval before we recruit a master student, or we can just ask them to enroll earlier? Thank you.
Should you get ethics first? Or
Yeah, should we wait for the ethics approval first, then we recruit the student, or we can, because I believe otherwise data collection cannot be begin before ethics approvals, or otherwise the student need to extend the study. So should we recruit after ethics approval? What do you think about the technical part? Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Based on my experience here, Dr. Muhammad Shaiful, based on my experience, what I did was, the moment I knew that my research has been approved, I straight away sent for ethics approval. And this ethics approval, alhamdulillah, so far, I have to admit that the committee is quite fast in giving the approval. Yeah. But mine is, but yours is more like clinical, kan? But maybe, brother, what you can do is you can already engage the GRA. You can already engage the GRA, all right? And then you can already train this particular researcher, this particular GRA. You can already train the person. Janganlah macam, what we don't want is this. Sebab kita sebenarnya banyak, when we want to make sure that we complete our grant, our research on time, kan, we will macam, how should I say, kita buat benda macam concurrent tau. Kita tak boleh macam tak apalah, tunggu ethics dulu, nanti baru nak cari-cari GRA, takut ada delay dekat situ. To me, what I did was, while waiting for ethics approval, saya dah engage GRA. Saya dah cari student. Saya takkan tunggu. Okay, saya takkan tunggu. Then of course, when you submit that application to ethics for ethics approval tu, kalau boleh make sure lah macam your team members will also have a look at it, so that macam macam maknanya the thing that you send tu will not be macam kena tembak lah, will not be rejected, mesti approve-nya macam tu. Jadi macam you tak waste time. So that's why you have to do it right lah. Do it right. Masa when you submit for ethics approval tu, do it the right way. Tengok macam apa benda requirement dia, fill up, make sure ni. And I'm very sure the ethics committee tu pun dia takkan, it will not take so long, it will not, because they are doing it online kan, so cepat saja benda tu. Tapi brother, secara jujurnya I think janganlah tunggu. Okay, jangan tunggu. Cari student, train dia orang, because tambah-tambah macam in your line kan, clinical pula tu kan, mungkin ada certain procedure ke apa ke, wallahu alam. Train the person dulu, tak apa. Mungkin data collection pun, brother, sometimes kan kita kena pilot dulu. So mungkin you boleh, while waiting to get the student to macam pilotkan dulu ke apa ke, macam get the person, be competent enough lah. Bila dapat approval je, jalan,
Dr. Alina, so meaning that we can recruit them as RA first, and after that enroll into GRA. So that they will only do the pilot study as RA first. After that, we enroll them as GRA. Is that okay?
Do you have in your budget, is there amount for RA? Ada?
Honorarium, yes.
Under honorarium, yeah.
Is that technically quite
correct ke? Ain, boleh ke Ain buat macam tu?
Doktor, kalau saya better untuk appoint terus GRA.
Okay, alright.
Ya.
Thank
Saya
you.
rasa sebab betul. Sebab Dr. Saiful. Ain, kejap
Okey.
Sebab Dr. Saiful macam ni. Bagi pandangan saya, macam mana, sebab macam ni, GRA ni bermakna macam mana pun later on, approve ke tak approve ke ethical approval tu, you akan appoint, you are still going to use the same student, right? Bukannya kita nak tukar-tukar. So you know that, okay, inilah studentnya yang saya akan lantik. So might as well from the very beginning, you appoint the student as a GRA, because remember that you have to fulfill that 12 month punya requirement so that you boleh declare it as output. Nanti you rugi because RA the duration will not be counted dalam output tu nanti. Nanti you rugi, saya takut.
Thank you very
So
much,
tak apa
Doktor.
doktor,
Thank you.
GRA je terus. Jalan je terus.
Just enroll lah. Alright. Okay, thank you very
Mungkin
much.
mungkin amount dia masa mula-mula ni you nak kurangkan dulu ke macam mana ke, and then later on you tambah, boleh, tak ada masalah ya.
Because like just currently, I think next intake will be in January, February. So we enroll for that lah, right?
Boleh lah tu. Grad siap-siap.
Thank you very much, Doktor.
Okay,
Thank you.
welcome.
Assalamualaikum.
Wassalam. Dr. Suryani. Ada queue kan?
Lepas tu doktor, kita ada lagi satu
Assalamualaikum, Doktor.
question.
Ain, bagi Dr. Suryani cakap
Okay.
dulu boleh? Ya Dr. Suryani.
Boleh, sure.
Teruskan.
Doktor, nanti kita cakap apa tau.
Assalamualaikum Dr. Okay. Assalamualaikum Dr. Adilina. Saya Suryani pada KICT.
Ya.
My question, if my GRA graduated before the expiration date and I have a small portion of the project which has not been completed, can I then appoint him as my RA and pay him under honorarium?
But status dia apa?
Currently active, but he'll be graduating like in 1 or 2 months time.
RA. Maknanya okay, kalau dalam sistem maknanya apa? Thesis examine ke?
Correction.
Oh, maknanya masih student lah.
Hmm.
SRA. Saya rasa boleh.
Boleh.
Sebab
That means
because he has not graduated yet. Thesis examine. Boleh. So
Okay,
meaning
thank
to say that he has already completed lah his duration as a GRA tu dah halas kan, dah habis kan.
yes.
So now you nak appoint dia as RA using vote 29 kan?
Yes.
Okay, duit 29 ada?
Ada.
Boleh, insyaAllah boleh.
Okay, thank you Doktor.
Welcome. Okay.
Dr. Lina
Okay,
boleh
Dr.
tanya? Dr. Lina, I one of the
Dr. Zun ke ni? Kenapa rupa you tak nampak?
Oh, saya tak buka kamera.
Okay, tak apa Dr. Zun.
Okay.
Lawak aja. Ya.
I'm one of the recipient of 2019 FRGS. I did put some budget for the proofread and publication fee.
Ya.
But is it possible if I wire some amount like for because we could not utilize our budget in the conference because we are not we just attend online conference. Can we wire some of the amount to use it for proofread services and the publication fee?
Boleh. Can.
Okay. So I do need to write a letter to RMC or I can just wire through the FRJS online?
Just wire through FRJS. RMSB tu apa pula saya ni pun.
Oh, through RMSB tu bukan FRJS migrant?
Migrant tu later, dah tak boleh dah sekarang ni. Okay, dia macam ni ya. Okay, Dr. Zun, to answer your question, jawapannya boleh. Ya, jawapannya boleh bermakna actuallynya currently during this COVID, kita ni kan tak boleh bergerak.
Betul.
Okay. So we are basically cooped up in our house lah, okay, or our office, okay. So everything can be done online, and because of that, we cannot utilize the travelling, yeah, vote 27 tu, tak boleh nak utilize. So of course you can transfer the money, alright, to vote 29. You transfer, but then you give the justification and you do it on the RMSB2.
Sebab you did mention in your talk just now, you said that we cannot exceed a certain percentage to the current.
Yalah.
50%.
To the current. Ain, is that applicable to travelling juga ke?
Yes, sebenarnya semua YMR request tak boleh exceed 50%. Tapi kalau exceed 50% under special case, on case basis, boleh hantar surat kepada KPT lah melalui RMC untuk request. Katakan doktor nak bawa keluar macam 60 or 70% from the travelling punya allocation. Nak wire to another board, that one kena ada special permission daripada the KPT, doktor.
Exceed 50 50.
Yeah, 50.
50.
Yeah, okay.
50.
Baik, okay.
Okay.
Assalamualaikum.
Okay, Dr. Nosuzila, kejap boleh tak saya interrupt sekejap? Kita ada photo session sekejap je.
Oh, because people are leaving already. Yelah, dah dekat 12.30 baru 12.10.
Sekejap je. Boleh buka kamera tak? Ini. Pintu. Okey, kejap. Okay. Alright, done.
Done Okay, Alhamdulillah.
Okay, Dr. Suzila, boleh teruskan soalan doktor. Doktor, nanti ada satu soalan yang daripada chat room.
Ya, tak apa. Okay, Dr. Suzila, please.
Assalamualaikum Dr. Lina.
Waalaikumsalam.
I have the same problem lebih kurang macam Dr. Zun lah. Some of my vote tak boleh guna because of ni lah pandemic ni kan. I'm one of the recipient for 2019 ni FRGS.
Baik.
And in my one of my vote for data collection adalah amount tu quite big juga for data collection because we plan to go to ground to select several neighboring lah areas for data collection with local population and also interview with local authorities. However, because of the pandemic dan satu memang saya lambat lah dapat RA sebenarnya half of the year selepas dapat just kan 2019 tu somewhere in December juga kan. So around 2020 tu macam dah tengah tahun tu baru dapat GRA. Okay, so satu tu lah dari segi data collection memang my GRA buat online sebenarnya. Okay, secara interview with local authorities and very low number of participant for local population. So memang tak boleh nak utilize pun duit data collection tu. Okay. Satu biasa kita akan bayar enumerators kan, kita ada spell out dalam our vote apa amount untuk enumerators. So sekarang ni soalan saya, sebelum ni saya dah pernah buat environment because of itulah lari dari segi timing apa semua tu, saya buat environment on research supply dengan GRA apa semua tu. Okay. Sekarang ni untuk soalan saya, berapa kali kita boleh buat environment sebab yang saya tahu percentage tu 50%. But 50% tu daripada total approve kan yang kita dah buat structure memula. Cuma berapa kali pula selepas ni kalau kata contoh macam sekarang ni saya tak boleh utilize duit untuk data collection. Lepas tu apa lagi duit untuk apa ni GRA yang saya bayar untuk PhD student pula baru bermula this year. So dia akan prolong pula sedangkan saya punya FRGS akan tutup somewhere on February next year. Jadi saya pernah kat RMC sebelum ni minta advice benda ni. Cuma saya dapat feedback dari segi environment tu kata apply online. Tapi saya apply online sebelum ni tak melibatkan yang data collection punya budget tu lah.
Okay. No, actually-nya
sebenarnya macam ni lah dalam FRGS tu banyak yang tak terguna pun macam tu.
Faham. Okay, in terms of moving the vote tu sama, maknanya you cannot exceed 50% lah. Sama ya, dia punya regulation dia sama. You cannot exceed 50%. Lepas tu berapa kali, in terms of berapa kali sebenarnya kalau ikut Mohir sekali setahun je. Sekali je dia bagi. Satu kali saja. Tapi dia macam ni lah ya. Macam mana nak cerita? Ni rahsia. Tapi nombor rahsia. Dia macam ni ya. Sebenarnya doktor boleh buat environment dekat dalam RMS tu beberapa kali. Tak apa. Cumanya nanti bila reporting tu you akan macam, apa benda nak cakap You akan buat sekali je lah masa reporting tu. Kan Ain? Environment tu. The movement of money tu maknanya you report sekali
Betul,
lah. Tapi
combine je.
sebenarnya dalam masa beberapa bulan tu you dah buat beberapa kali. Yang beberapa kali tu nampak dalam RMSB2 je. Tak apa. Selagi dalam migrant nampak macam sekali je you buat. Tapi macam, you get what I'm saying or not? Sebab Mohir ni, dia allow kita buat sekali je. But of course, knowing kita researcher ni, sometimes it's, macam you lah, maknanya you tengok ini you nak movekan ke sini. Jadi macam we need to do it a few times. Jadi kita allow dalam RMSB2. Tapi di dalam migrant, bila dia buka time untuk submit progress report tu, time tu je lah yang you akan updatekan the environment request tu, yang buat the environment request tu. Jadi macam like you compile, you kumpulkan apa yang you dah buat dalam RMS, you buat sekali harung je dekat dalam migrant, macam tu. Jadi nampak macam seolah dia buat sekali je lah. Faham tak doktor?
Faham. Cuma saya punya kekangan pula sekali. Saya tak tahu nak guna duit tu untuk apa dah.
Itulah saya kata. Tak, macam ni. Jangan stress yourself. Jangan stress yourself macam, alamak, I nak kena habiskan duit. Tak. Jangan. Tak, Mohir pun saya rasa dia orang tahu. Because macam contoh dia, saya punya pun banyak je balance. Bagi saya, I mean as long as my research is complete, itu yang my progress 100%, itu yang penting. Jangan worry sangat about duit tu.
Alright.
Ain, you have to mute yourself. Boleh dengar dia punya phone conversation, nak ilahi Allah.
Sorry. Saya dah mute.
Okay, itu Dr. Nursi Zalawati. Ada lagi tak? Apa tadi question dalam chat box ni? Okay, nanti the recording insyaAllah kami akan share insyaAllah dalam Facebook rasanya. Sekarang ni dia orang duk buat dalam Facebook. Dr. Raini kata, based on my experience, after we receive IRAC approval with specified duration and details, if there's any amendment correction, we have to resubmit application and wait for approval. And can cost some time, yalah. Ya, get the GRA first, ya, betul. Mana dia soalannya? If in our grant we put PhD student, that time the student plan to convert her master to PhD, but then she reject it. Can I recruit one more master student to fulfill the Mohir requirement? For info, in my grant, I put one PhD student as talent. So that means Dr. Nurul Sakinah, are you here? Dr. Nurul Sakinah?
Yes, I'm
okay.
here.
So bermakna, in other words, even though you promised one PhD, now you are planning to change it to 2 masters, am I right?
Yeah.
Boleh? Can?
Boleh lah. So do I need to write any letters or whatever to change that?
Tak perlu, because the conversion tu Mohir dah faham. 1 PhD equals to 2 master, 2 master equals to 1 PhD, macam tu lah lebih kurang. Okay. Cumanya doktor, I just want to caution you in terms of payment. Sebab maknanya, because in the budget, you have only budgeted for 1 PhD. Jadi sekarang ni you remember tak, maximum 1 master is 1/8 kan? So maknanya in terms of payment tu lah you kena macam bincang elok-elok lah dengan student ni, because I'm very sure they will get less lah kan?
So far I can pay 1,200 lah for 18 month lah, because my program will be end on 2023, something like February, something like that lah.
Okay, alright. Okay, thank you. Alright, any more questions? Anyone? Okay, alright. So insyaAllah, I will share the slides as well as, we will share the slides as well as the recording dekat ni lah ya, dekat Facebook. We will inform lah through your HOR. We will inform the HOR Okay. Right. So insyaAllah, ada apa-apa lagi? So saya serahkan pada Ain lah ya. Alright. Thank you everyone.
All right, thank you, Dr. Adlina, and thank you all the researchers. We really hope that this talk helps you a lot in managing your research. And if you still need assistance on the grant management, on the financial and everything, you can contact us at any time via emails and also call us. Okay. No worries, kita orang tak makan orang, and insyaAllah we will help all of you. And that's all. We close our talks today by reciting Suratul Anas and also Tasbih Kafarah. All right. Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Okay.
Have a good
Terima kasih.
day.
Assalamualaikum. Thank you very much.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi